What if I told you the suit hanging in your closet right now, the one you paid real money for, is built worse than a department store suit your grandfather could have bought off the rack 70 years ago? Not a designer suit, not a bespoke suit, a regular working man's suit from 1955. And the gap between them isn't taste, it's suit construction. And most of it is completely invisible until the day your jacket fails you. Here's what nobody selling you a suit today wants you to know. Somewhere between then and now, an entire list of suit construction standards quietly disappeared from the price tag. And by the time we get to number 1, you'll understand why a 50-year-old suit can outlive a suit you bought last month. Number 7 on this list is about what's inside every panel of the jacket. Number 1 is about where the fabric itself is even allowed to come from anymore. Before we get into it, subscribe. This channel exists to show you what luxury actually costs to make, not what it costs to buy, and that's a very different education. Let's rank these from quietly disappeared to almost completely gone. Number 7. The floating canvas that gave the jacket a skeleton. In 1955, a suit jacket's shape came from a panel of horsehair canvas, sewn loosely between the outer wool and the lining, floating so it could move independently and mold to your body over years of wear. This wasn't a premium feature. It was simply how a jacket was built, full stop, at almost every price point. Here's what got forgotten. That floating canvas is why a suit from that era can still be taken in or let out decades later. Because the structure is fabric, held by thread, not by chemistry. Today, that same floating construction costs 65% more labor than a half-canvas shortcut. We're talking an additional 8 to 15 hours of handwork, and well over double what a fully glued jacket costs to produce. And most manufacturers simply stopped paying for it. Check the inside of your own jacket right now. Pinch the fabric below the top button. If you don't feel a third layer floating free, you already know which category you're in. Number 6. The glue that literally did not exist yet. This is the detail that changes how you read everything else on this list. Fusible inner lining, the glued shortcut that replaced hand-sewn canvas, was only first developed in the 1950s, and it did not become a genuine mass production option until the early 1960s. Which means a 1955 suit wasn't sewn instead of glued because sewing was more prestigious. It was sewn because the glue gun for clothing hadn't been invented yet. Your suit today is very likely held together by heat-activated resin pressed onto the fabric, and that resin has a known failure mode. Dry cleaning and years of wear cause it to separate from the cloth, a defect the industry itself calls bubbling, technically delamination, where the adhesive separates from the cloth and the chest and lapel ripple and lose their shape for good. The suit that came before the glue simply cannot fail this way. Number 5. Roughly 750 stitches in a single lapel. Hart Schaffner Marx, once one of the largest suit makers in America, built its lapels with a canvas piece pad stitched by hand and machine. Close to 750 individual stitches rolling the lapel into its shape before it ever touched a customer. This wasn't some Savile Row exclusive. This was Hart Schaffner Marx from Chicago, available to any working man who walked into a department store. Longtime customers of the brand describe exactly when that changed. Watching hand-sewn buttonholes and hand-finished armholes disappear as the company shifted toward fused construction and moved its trouser production overseas. That's not a rumor. That's documented by the people who bought the suits on both sides of that shift. You won't find that stitch count on a hang tag today. You'll only find it in what the jacket does, or doesn't do, after 5 years in rotation. Number 4. A domestic wool supply chain that actually existed. The current owner of Hart Schaffner Marx has said plainly that only one American mill is left that can produce fine suiting wool. That mill is American Woolen Company in Connecticut. and that most fine wool now has to be imported from sheep in New Zealand, because domestic wool is simply too coarse. And we're not talking Super 180s exotic wool here. We're talking Super 100s, Super 110s, solid worsted wool that used to come from American towns. Today, for that quality of fiber, you're sourcing from New Zealand. Or you're buying from Italian mills like Vitale Barberis Canonico or Loro Piana, which is exactly what most American and European makers do now. Think about what that means. The raw material pipeline that used to run through American towns has been reduced to a single facility, and that scarcity alone reshapes what an American-made suit can even claim to be. A suit from 1955 wasn't fighting that scarcity. It was made inside a supply chain that still had somewhere to source from. Number 3. Real structure standard, not upgrade tier. Full canvas, half canvas, and fused are described in the industry today as 3 tiers: good, better, best, as if canvas is something you pay extra for. In 1955, before fusing existed at any scale, canvas wasn't a tier. It was simply what a jacket was. The entire idea of construction as an upsell is a modern invention, built to sell you the bare minimum as the default, and charge you again to get what used to be standard. Number 2. Suits that got altered instead of replaced. Because the internal structure was sewn fabric and not glue, a full canvas jacket could be let out, taken in, and repressed for decades without the internal shape collapsing. Fused jackets don't tolerate that kind of alteration well, because the glued interlining can separate, delaminate, under the heat and pressure a tailor needs to apply. A fused suit isn't built to be altered, it's built to be replaced. Number 1. Fabric that had not been priced out of its own country yet. Today, most suit jackets sold in stores, including plenty with genuinely expensive designer names on the label, use fused construction, not because the technology got better, but because it got cheaper to produce at scale. The 1955 suit did not have that option available to cut corners with. Every quiet standard on this list, the canvas, the stitching, the domestic wool, existed by default, not by premium pricing. What changed was not the man wearing the suit. What changed was every incentive in the industry that makes it. If you made it this far, you now know something most men shopping for a suit today never learn until their jacket already failed them. The suits our grandfathers wore weren't better because people cared more back then. They were better because the shortcuts that define the modern industry hadn't been invented yet. Smash that like button if this changed how you'll check a jacket before you buy it. Drop a comment and tell me which one hit hardest. Team floating canvas, team the glue didn't exist yet, or team the 750 stitches. I read every comment. And if you haven't subscribed to the Luxury Meltdown yet, do it now. Because we take apart what luxury actually costs to build every single week. Sometimes the better suit isn't the one with the bigger price tag. Sometimes it's the one built before anyone figured out how to cut corners.